Long time no see, you guys. It's so exciting to see you. So if this is the first time watching one of my videos or you're a newbie, then you probably haven't noticed, but if you have been a subscriber for a while, then you probably have noticed that I missed a couple weeks uploading. Sorry, I've been super busy. We're starting the 5th week of classes now, and they have been absolutely kicking my butt. There is probably no waking moment that I'm not doing homework or sleeping or being a human. I've learned in college that being a human is so tedious. Like, you have to eat, you have to sleep, and you know, like, it's not like I haven't been doing these things until now, but for some reason it just feels like in college all of these things are take so much more effort. Today we are joined by my very special reading buddies, Cat and Dog. I'm not sure if you can see them very well in the camera, but if you can't, I'll go ahead and put a little picture of them up here. Dog is the black one, and then Cat is this little orange and white one. They are my very special reading buddies, and I love them, and they are a lot more high maintenance than I thought they would be, but it's okay. So I wanted this video to be kind of a little life update, but I know that those are kind of boring. Like, when I watch life updates on YouTube, I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of don't care. So in an effort to keep this video interesting, while I still want to update you guys, I also am going to be doing the fall book tag. The creator of this book tag, I believe, the Bionic Bookworm, Shanah from the Bionic Bookworm, created this book tag, and I'll link her in the description. And then without further ado, let's just jump right in. So as for a life update, so you guys have probably been expecting my A Little Life book talk, and I totally said that I would do that. However, I've been so dang busy with homework and hobbies because I'm kind of using college as an opportunity to branch out and try new things and try out a bunch of new hobbies that I haven't had access to before. I joined the Purdue equestrian team with 0 equestrian experience, and so they're not riding this semester, but they might be riding next semester. And so I was thinking, if I took lessons and I got really good at riding equestrian, then maybe, like, there's a shot in the dark that I could show with them next semester, and I think that would be really, really fun. So I've been spending a lot of time down at the barn, learning how to take care of horses, learning how to ride, taking lessons, and here's a couple pictures of me being a horse girl, starting my transformation. Anyway, that's been really fun, but it's obviously taking up a lot of my time. And then obviously just so much homework, and I also joined the outing club, which goes like hiking and mountain biking and fun sort of things, so that's taking up a little bit of time. And just honestly, just being social. I have friends. Every waking moment of my time is filled, and so there's not a lot of time for me to be like personally reading, if that makes sense. A lot of my time would be at the dead of night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'm done with all of my homework. I guess I can read now. However, I have to make that decision between going to sleep and waking up refreshed for my 9 a.m. class, or reading for a couple hours and then being dead the next day and having no energy for the whole day of classes. So I have to like be aware of like my mental health, and so sometimes it's not necessarily a good idea for me to read at 3 o'clock in the morning instead of go to sleep. You know what I mean? So slowly, like a snail, making progress on A Little Life. I'm on page 310, and there's around 800 pages in this book. So, I mean, if this was like maybe a 400-page book, I could probably have cranked it out by now. But it's like, oof. But do not worry, I will have that book talk out. It just might not be for a couple weeks. And also, most of my reading right now has been for class, and so I haven't like not even just A Little Life, period, I haven't been able to read for personal enjoyment. Currently, I'm reading Jane Eyre for my class. Oh my gosh, there's hair everywhere. I'm sorry. This is very interesting, to say the least. I'm not... So far, I really like the writing that Charlotte Bronte has. Like, it's very beautiful and elegant, very flowery and fluffy. I don't know if I like the story that's going on, but I don't know. I'm not sure I like Jane. Jane is obsessed with being loved and understood, and even wants her readers to love and understand her. I don't really love and understand her. The other book I'm reading at the moment is You, Me, the Moon, and the Stars. My friend J.P. Miller wrote this book. It's written lyrically, in prose, like a poem, and I'm reading it for him, and I'm giving him some tips, but you guys can also read this. It's on Amazon. Look it up, J.P. Miller. I'm reading one other book at the moment, City of Brass. I'm listening to this on audiobook while I like walk to class or go running or clean or do the things that make you human, you know? I believe I have around 7 hours left, and I'm absolutely loving it. I have not had much exposure to Islamic mythology before this, and so it's kind of interesting to learn about the jinn and the ifrits, and there was a little bit of that in An Ember in the Ashes. An Ember in the Ashes hinted a little bit about Islamic mythology with those magical creatures. However, they weren't really in it much, and so in that regard, I feel like City of Brass is giving me everything that I was missing from An Ember of the Ashes, if that makes sense. And I just love it so much more. Oh my goodness. And so that's kind of an update of what's going on right now, like what I'm reading and how snail-like my pace is. So what that means for this channel is that there's probably not going to be a lot of videos where I am wrapping up all the books I read or like having an extensive TBR, because you know I don't have the time to read as much anymore. But I do want to do all these videos like more book tags and more fun things that maybe take a little bit less of preparation time. And so I'm going to resume like uploading. It just probably won't be a lot of book talks or things that take mounds and mounds of preparation. Also, do you notice how bright it is under here? My roommate is amazing. She got me this like gigantic, fancy, bright ass ring light that is doing me wonders right now. Also, can we talk about how it kind of looks like I'm at prom right now? Oh my gosh, so let's go get started with the fall book tag. Oh my gosh, I love fall. Fall starts on Tuesday. Maybe you'll see this on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday. I don't know. Right now I'm filming on Saturday, so fall hasn't started yet. But when you see this, maybe it'll be like the first day of fall. Oh my gosh, okay, yes. I'm posting this on Tuesday, and it'll be the first day of fall. It'll be awesome. Okay, so the first book in this book tag is relating to the crisp fall air. Choose a book that felt fresh and new. And for this one, I don't know, I kind of had a hard time picking, but I picked House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas, and I thought this one felt fresh and new because it's pretty different than the other books that she's written. Now it has all the similar creatures, and there's a lot of argument to say that they're all kind of all those universes that she writes are kind of connected. I have theories, but this book in particular I thought was kind of fresh and new because obviously it's more modern. It's less like monarchy, fantasy, kings and queens sort of thing, and more like they have cell phones, which was new and fresh from Sarah J. Maas. The characters had modern problems and you could relate to them more, and I liked it. Okay, so the next category is Howling Winds. Choose an ending that blew you away. And I couldn't decide between two books for this one because both of their endings blew me away. The first one I've talked about before on this channel is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Iain Reid. Oh my gosh, I really can't say much on that book. You really just have to read it and you have to let the ending blow your mind. I mean, it was a good book. That book does live rent-free in my mind. However, it's also like baffling and gives you an existential crisis a little bit. Anyway, just go read it. It's actually really good. And the other book that I was deciding between for this category was the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, and specifically Well of Ascension, but also just like the whole trilogy in general. I can never ever predict Brandon Sanderson's plot or endings or anything. He just, I don't know, but they always make sense. It's not like he pulls his plot points out of nowhere. He doesn't pull them out of his butt. They make sense, but you just can't predict them. Or maybe you could if you paid a lot of attention and you had the same brain as Brandon Sanderson. But you know, I don't, and I couldn't predict it. So, especially Well of Ascension, all of their endings kind of blew me away, like each incremental book. But Well of Ascension, especially, the end, I was like, how is an author allowed to do that? Everything that you thought was gonna go right went wrong, and everything just is terrible, and oh my gosh. The next category is Leaf Fight, a book with non-stop action. And for this one, I chose Reverie by Ryan Sala. Now, you know that I didn't really love this book because I thought the world could have been more fleshed out. But there was non-stop action. I feel like it was just reverie after reverie after reverie after reverie, and everything's going to heck, which I guess was one of the things I didn't like about it. The next category is Pumpkin Spice, your most anticipated read. And before I go into my pick for this one, I would just like to point out that I do believe I am the only female in this entire universe that does not like pumpkin spice. The most anticipated read for me, it's not coming out this year, but very early next year. A Court of Silver Flames, Sarah J. Maas, and oh my goodness, it's supposed to be the 4th book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and you know I'm a hoe for Feyre and Rysand. And yes, I say Rysand. I don't need your sass. Do not say Rysand to me. That's gross. Like, I get that Sarah J. Maas says it's pronounced Rysand. I get it. Let the author do what they want. But to me, and my brain, and to my ears, Rysand. Thank you. Conversation done. Anyway, I'm very excited for that book. I love ACOTAR. The only thing I am not excited for, or that I don't like, this is so petty, but the title does not match the others. It's A Court of Silver Flames, not A Court of Silver and Flames. You know, it doesn't have the extra and in there, and so I always call them by their acronyms, like ACOTAR, ACOMAF, ACOWAR, but you can't do it with Silver Flames, like Akis. But if there was Silver and Flames, then it would be Akasaf. You know, does that bother other people like it bothers me? The 5th category is Comfy Sweaters, a book that gave you the warm fuzzies. And for that one, I chose Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. That book definitely gave me the warm and fuzzies. I didn't like it at first because I felt like it was just like plagiarizing Harry Potter, but I mean, you know, I learned more about it. It's from Fangirl, which I haven't actually read Fangirl, which I think I really need to in order to really understand Carry On. I feel like Rainbow Rowell's books, they are all pretty warm and fuzzy, but at the same time, I get really frustrated with Rainbow Rowell's books. Like Eleanor and Park, I loved that book up until the ending. I hated the ending. I hated it so much. I wish I never read it. Anyway. Okay, the last category is Bright Colors. Choose a book with either red, orange, or yellow in the cover. So it's more of an aesthetic thing than a content book. So I figured I would choose a book that I haven't read, and that is Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward, and this is actually on my syllabus for my English class. We're going to be reading it. It's a memoir. Look at the cover. It's so pretty. It has like all the fall colors. I'm going to read the back of it for you because Jesmyn Ward would be able to give you a better summary of her memoir than I would be able to, like not reading it. So we have Jesmyn Ward's universally acclaimed memoir shines a light on the community she comes from and the small town of Delisle, Mississippi, a place of quiet beauty and fierce attachment. Here, in the space of 4 years, she lost 5 young men dear to her, including her beloved brother, to accidents, murder, and suicide. Their deaths were seemingly unconnected, yet their lives had been connected by identity and place, and as Jesmyn dealt with these losses, she came to a staggering truth. These young men died because of who they were and the place they were from, because certain disadvantages breed a certain kind of bad luck, because they lived with a history of racism and economic struggle. The agonizing reality commanded Jesmyn to write, at last, their true stories and her own. Men We Reaped opens up a parallel universe, yet it points to problems whose roots are woven into the soil under our feet. This indispensable American memoir is destined to become a classic. I would also, now this is required for my class, I'm also going to make a point in trying to read more books by Black authors and focusing on the topic of racism like outside in my own reading, but at the same time I am still excited to read this. That's all I have for the video today. Thank you for joining me. A little delayed, but we still happen, better late than ever, right? And join me next week because I will post a video next week. I will. I promise. I'm promising you right now. Now, make sure and go follow my Instagram, which is the same Same thing as YouTube, at Wales Books, all one word, all lowercase. And then also follow me at Wales Books, all one word, lowercase, on Goodreads, so you can keep up with what I'm reading and what I liked, what I didn't like. And then make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you get notified whenever I post a new video, which will be every week. I promise. Say thank you to Cat and Dog for joining me for today's hectic video. Thank you to my new ring light for making this possible. And thank you to you for supporting me, because I have fun doing this, so bye!